Is this always happening to you? You just want to play your new long-playing Vinylite microgroove record, but you can't find anywhere to put the record sleeve. So you end up leaving it in a bush. You're not alone. This is a massive problem that affects millions of people around the world. But finally the solution is here, with the Now Playing stand. But this isn't just any old record stand. It's the most advanced Now Playing stand on the market, as it incorporates a state-of-the-art, plug-and-go, smart audio visualizer. Handcrafted from wood and filled with electronic stuff, this stand is sure to enhance any audio system. And don't worry if you've already started to collect the new digital compact discs, the forward-thinking design ensures the stand works just as well at displaying these.
Right, now I just want to mention, you might have noticed the paid promotion thing pop up at the beginning of this video. It's not strictly a paid promotion. I got something for free, but I also bought something. I'm going to explain more about that later on. But first, let's just have a look at the thing that we're talking about. On the left-hand side of the case is a microphone, and around the back is a USB-C port for the power. And that's it. There are no audio inputs. There's no need to wire this into a system. You just provide it with power and put it somewhere where it can hear the audio. To the left of the display on the front are three clearly labelled self-explanatory rotary controls. And the simple instructions fit on one side of a postcard-sized piece of paper, and at the bottom of this, on the other side, you can see the website address information. The operation is as simple as providing power, turning it on, and after displaying a Now Playing banner, it starts listing out for the music. So in order to demonstrate it doing its thing, let's put a record sleeve on the stand and a record on the record player. Now, it was at this point that I noticed my usual camera really wasn't doing the display any justice. It looks washed out here and the colours are off. Just look at the difference in the red when it's viewed through the camera on my phone. So to show the display properly, I've swapped over to my phone for this demo where I spend the next minute or so cycling through the different display modes. Just in case there's anyone out there who wants a bit more of an explanation regarding the controls, well, the top knob toggles the power and then goes on to adjust the brightness, and the display goes plenty bright enough. You're more than likely to only want to set this control halfway up, so it's good that it's here. The sensitivity knob, that adjusts the sensitivity of the microphone. You'll want to adjust this depending upon how loud you're playing your music or how far away your stand is situated from your speakers. And then finally, the mode potentiometer, that's the only notched one of the three, with each of the rotary clicks advancing the screen forward or back to the next display. Okay, now back to the paid promotion thing that I mentioned at the beginning. It's not as cut and dry as that. I actually bought this. I saw it on Reddit. It was a product available on Etsy. Paid full price, just normal order. They sent an email through. It's on its way. Here's a tracking number, all that kind of stuff. At which point I replied and I said, would it be all right if I featured this on my YouTube channel? Because a video showing this is likely to have perhaps 150,000 views. Even if a fraction of 1% of people watching that decide that they want one, that's still quite a lot of orders to come into a small operation all at once. So I didn't want to swamp anyone, so that's why I let them know. They said, yeah, they'd be very happy to have it featured on the channel, but please let them know when the video's going out so they can be ready for a bit of an influx of orders. I put it to one side. I've got other projects I was working on. I intended to make a video where I was featuring that and another thing with flashy lights on that never ended up turning up. Anyway, they contacted me again just a few weeks ago and said, we've got a new one. The new one has a USB-C port on the back rather than micro USB, and they'd updated the electronic internals. So they'd rather feature that one if I'm making a video, because that's the one that people will get if they order one now, which made perfect sense. But I said, well, yeah, I'll be happy to have one. I'll pay the postage and things if you want to send one over. Anyway, I didn't end up paying anything. So that's the commercial consideration. They sent me a second one completely free of charge. And that's the one that's behind me here. Let's just have a look at the difference between the two. I'll just show you that now, and then we'll come back and we'll do a bit of a wrap up. So the only real difference noticeable to the user is the fact that the newer one has that USB-C port for the power rather than a micro USB, and that's a welcome addition. The colour of the wood here is slightly different between these two, but the change is so subtle that I'm going to assume that that's just a regular variation rather than anything intentional. But really, other than the USB port, there's nothing between them. The display modes are identical, and any variation you can see on screen between these two is down to the angle and focus of the camera, or perhaps the analog brightness and sensitivity controls being set at slightly different values. Okay, now let me sum this one up. I like this product, and one of the reasons I like it in particular is that it gives more people an excuse to have something nice and flashy next to their hi-fi system. With modern systems now, you won't get spectrum analyzers, VU meters, power meters. You're lucky if you get like a power LED. That's probably the most exciting thing on there. So they don't tend to look very interesting. And for most people, that's fine. Vast majority of people don't want interesting, flashy looking hi-fis. They don't want to look at the hi-fi. They want to listen to the music. That's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. But also, you've got to bear in mind there are some people, like myself, who like having flashy things going on when the music's playing. Just personal preference, that's all it is. So if you're one of those people that wanted something nice and flashy next to their hi-fi, but didn't want to just get a box that flashed because it seemed silly and frivolous, well, maybe this would tip you over the edge, because you say, well, now I've got somewhere to put my records. I've got a record stand. Now, record stands are 10 a penny. Well, perhaps not that cheap, but very cheap. I mean, all you need is a block of wood with a slot cut in it. But if you wanted a record stand, this might be an excuse for you to get some flashy lights to go along with it. And the display on this is really very pleasant indeed. I don't know what they've done with the LEDs here. I haven't seen this display anywhere else, I don't think. Because quite often LEDs are quite harsh, and they've somehow softened them down here. You know, rather than just being on or off, there's a shade to them. I don't think it's coming across particularly well on the video. One thing I've noticed on a lot of these shots, the colours don't look as bright as they do in person. Trust me, the colours are very bright. There are 13 different displays on here, some of which I would never choose, but there's always the one that you might prefer, and just leave it on that one. It'll return to it when you power it on again. This one is just blue. I would have thought that would have colour cycle, but it doesn't. You can't change the displays on it, you just get the ones that are built in. This is pleasant. This is colour cycling. I think the LEDs fade nicely here. It looks like a fireplace. You could leave this on as an ambient display. And that's a nice spectrum analyzer. Well, that's probably the one I'd leave it on. This thing, this is an ambient display. This is just, it's not reacting to music, it's just lights changing colour. But it looks really nice. It reminds me of something you might see on the original Star Trek series. Well, kind of. And that one, it's like the heat of the audio, the louder things go red, and it goes down through the colours to blue. There's plenty to choose from. You'll probably find one you like. If you do want one of these, they are, at the moment, time of making this video, $200 US. That includes shipping worldwide. It's made by a father and son team. They've gone for this mid-century modern look to it. So I do appreciate what they've done here. I think they've put together a nice little product for that very, very small niche of people who want something like this. And it is a tiny amount of people, but I'm one of them, and there's going to be quite a few people out there watching this video who would also fall into that category. The other 99.9 something% of people watching this will say, no, not for me, which is fair enough, because that's just how this is supposed to work. If 100% of people watching this wanted one of these, there'd be a bit of a problem. Anyway, that's it for the moment. As always, thanks for watching.